Aloha. Welcome to this. We're going to, would you like to? Would you like to? I don't know. If you don't want to, don't come with me. But we're going to make bracelets. These copper healing bracelets of all different kinds. What I'm going to show you today is how we make these. Just a little bracelet, small tutorial. And let's remind you that these copper healing bracelets are really good for moving the blood through your body. I used to have carpal tunnel and arthritis, 23 stitches and 4 broken knuckles. My hands used to hurt, broken wrists. I wasn't able to make art. It just hurt so bad doing dumb things. But then all of a sudden, yes, we have copper healing bracelets and they help. So we're gonna make some today. And we're gonna take this 14 gauge copper wire and we're going to, the very first thing I like to do is when I touch the wire, say thank you for this wire, thank you for my craft. We're gonna run it through a cloth. In this case, my art pants. Yep, I got artist clothes on because I'm always using them as tools to do things with my art. You see that shine in there now? Right there, boom. Yep. Now the wire is happy and joyful. So I've set the intention to give thanks for the molecular structure of this, and so we're gonna go ahead and do a tutorial based on how I flow already without having to actually go into explaining this away, because I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do it. You're gonna watch. We're gonna take these pieces and we're gonna give thanks. We're gonna say, in the universal flow of divine energy, we're gonna set our intention that when we spiral this spiral, we make this loop right now, that when we seal this wire into a form where it can't move anymore because it's flowing, but once we seal it, it's not flowing anymore. It's staying within its own molecular spiral, flowing within itself. It's not going to be going outwards like it is now. So that first knot right there was to set our intentions to make epic art for epic people, and to add value to you and to add value to me simultaneously. And at the same exact time, that's what simultaneously means, we're happy about it. So we're gonna hold on to this. We're gonna take 2 of them right here and 2 of them right here. We're gonna take those 2. So now we have like a little head up here, 2 arms and 2 legs. Oh, there's no body, what's going on? Everybody needs a body. Oh wait, hold on. The body is the intention of prayer that goes into it. Prayer is, I know I'm gonna have the best day ever. Not, can I please have the best day ever? I know I'm already having the best day ever. This is the best life ever. This is the best journey ever. How does it get better than this? I love my life. See that spin? Okay, now we're gonna keep on spinning, right? Watch. 1. Over, 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 over. Hold. Spin. Give thanks. All the different patterns of life. Sun comes up, sun goes down. The moon spins around, new moon, full moon. Up, down, all around, in and out. We play, we sing, we dance, we work, plant seeds, grow food. There's all these patterns. And as we go through the patterns, cycles and seasons and rhymes and reasons, some of the patterns aren't good for us. Non-beneficial patterns, things that block us from being true to ourselves and true to our journey and true to our mission. So those patterns, we got to find those patterns and figure out what they are, and clear, cancel, and delete those patterns that are non-beneficial. Fold up and complete, and choose through intentions to put back new lessons that are more beneficial for you, that are in alignment with the divine assignment now that we've gotten through this transformation as a collective consciousness, and more things are available to us right now. For an example, the ancient secret of the flower of life, that symbol right there on the top, see that flower of life, that gold flower of life? The ancient secret of the flower of life, found on the Great Pyramids and other pyramids all over in Egypt. Those inscribed in the rock with like lasers or something from thousands of years ago. They found that symbol, the flower of life. And also the Ankh, that symbol of everlasting life, key to life. So there's a lot of patterns in life that we're unaware of, that are happening every day, that we wake up, we go through these rhythms. For example, the tide in the ocean goes in and out, in and out, in and out. And that tide in the ocean is governed by what we say the moon spinning, and then that's governed by the sun spinning, and then that's governed by the larger global electric circle spinning. The larger global electric circuit that's spinning is feeding all of this energy and information to these stepped down energy patterns of different frequency shapes on different sizes. Those patterns are all encoded in the ancient secret of the flower of life. When you start to look at the geometric patternings of the platonic solids, when they do the jitterbug dance out of implosion from 0 point infinitely in all directions, omniverse directions, and when we continue that, allowing the flow to us and through us, everything starts to make sense in a certain way. For example, like the video I made the other day about the platonic solids, the 5-sided shape and the 6-sided shape. The 6-sided shape for being able to be consolidating energy, making it a place for holding secrets, and the 5-sided molecular structure being for amplifying out your message and your signal and getting it out there. And so when we're in the 5s, then, and what does that mean? That means in our DNA we have a dodecahedron, we have a golden rectangle, and then an icosahedron. Dodecahedron, icosahedron, golden rectangle that connects them, and it ratchets and spirals, and they fit in and out of themselves. And when those two shapes fit in and out of themselves, they're perfect duals of themselves. What happens is every other shape in existence that could ever be from anything is already all in that flower of life shape. All we have to do is dimensionalize it and then look at it from every direction and cut pieces apart and see that that little arc in that little angle, when they come together, it creates all arcs and angles. Archangels, arcs and angles. And everything's encoded in Metatron's cube because it comes out of the center of the flower of life. Archangel Metatron isn't a dude who, you know, walked the earth like Jesus. May or may not have been a dude who walks the earth either. But they do have messages, and archangels, Metatron, the lines out of the circle and the geometry of how zeros and ones come together to create Q and U, 0, 1, Q, U, and you see that when the penetration happens and the 0 and the 1 comes together, a baby's created. Here you are, here I am, here we are. We were created through that process. That process is a sacred pattern, and that process of a pattern is unlocking the DNA codes, because we're all connected. So of course we're connected to the genes that we came in with. Of course we're connected to our family. That's obvious, right? Everybody knows that. But everybody thinks that we're doomed because if your parents or your grandparents had problems and they didn't deal with those problems, you have those problems then through genetics, is what they say. Now let's just say you don't physically have those problems, but spiritually you do still have those problems. We call them generational curses and generational blessings. And if we don't transmute those generational curses, we'll never get the blessing. And the only way that we can transmute that curse to get the blessing is to recognize that we're not bound to the genes. If we were bound to the genes, then we would never be able to undo the curse. And that's why it is that we have this ability through epigenetics to go above the genes and become the conscious programmer of the cellular structure through telling your body's DNA that you want it to express a different expression of itself. And well, let's just be honest here. None of you know how to tell your DNA what to do. And that's pretty much true. Your DNA knows what to do beyond you telling it what to do. So let's just say for a minute you did know how to tell your DNA what to do. Do you think it would understand the language of hopes and desires and dreams and all of the things that come when you're just daydreaming through your day and there's no real foundation set in all of those things that you're daydreaming about, and they may or may not ever come into reality, and you may or may not ever want them to come into reality? But let's just say, for instance, you actually lived that life for just a minute and you stayed in that life and you kept on daydreaming that dream life. It's a potential reality that you would be able to encode your genes through mirror neurons, through hypnosis, through being able to cohere the vacuum, if you will, and put back in place of those things that are non-beneficial, the things that are beneficial, then automatically a few hours. And then automatically what you would do is you would we would begin a new path, because ultimately when you choose to change your life to being a better life for yourself, at first a lot of us do the work and it doesn't happen and we give up. We're like, oh, it's too hard to make this change. And so whether you're quitting smoking or quitting drinking or going to go lose weight or to get a better body because you don't like being flabby, or whether you're attempting to make more money because you don't like being poor, or whether you're trying to make more art because you want to be creative, or whatever it is that you're doing, in order to actually do it better, you have to really get in vibrational alignment with the divine assignment. We're working on the ends. It's really difficult because one end is very simple. The other end, we got to tie it all up so it doesn't poke you. And then we got to pound all this. So this is a really interesting part of the deal. I'm talking through it because it's my meditation. That's what I do. I talk through it. And so when we figure out that we're already all perfectly exactly who and what we need to be able to be the best versions of ourselves, no matter what that is, we're the ones that get to choose it. And for a lot of our lives, a lot of us didn't know that we had that choice, so we didn't choose it. So we undeliberately created a life that sucks. And now we're being told that you can deliberately create a life worth living. And you go ahead and you attempt to try to do that, and you think with your hopes and desires and dreams that it should just work out, but it doesn't. That's not where you quit. That's where you keep going. Your subconscious mind is programmed. And it's been programmed for so long the opposite way that it's used to having the hormones of stress. It's used to having that frustration when things don't work out. It's used to it. And because it's used to it, it looks for it to find it. And wherever it will find it, it's going to then say, see, I told you, there it is. And then the more that you say, there it is, it reaffirms itself, and then it comes more and more and more. So it's a self-reaffirming feedback loop of belief systems, bullshit belief systems that are out of alignment with the divine assignment. So what we do, instead of having to swim through all that bullshit, we don't do that anymore. We clear it out of the way really quickly. We just clear at least our eyes and our nose so we can breathe. And we say, what do I want instead? And why? And focus on that. And then act as if you already have it. Feel the energy and the frequency that's inside of you. And when you feel that energy and frequency inside of you, you feel so good, you start to emanate it all around you. Then you're going to start to transmit others around you, and they may or may not like that. So it's okay. Tip your hat off to them anyways and keep on going being you, because if you're going to create a new you, you got to create it from a state of not caring whether or not anybody else agrees with you. And if it's a joyful new you, then trust me, it's going to work out for everybody, because there's only one of us here, you. And when you change you, everything around you changes, and your perspective of everything changes around you. So everything around you is actually changing with you. So you can be the change you want to see in the world just by being it. You don't have to actually go change anybody. As soon as you change your sight, this is and crafted in America. I'm going to pound this down here for a second while you listen, because it's too loud on my lap. So what I'm doing is giving it a little pound to make it even. I'll show you what it is here in a second, all right? So we got like that. And we're just going to pound in that side. Now we're just going to finish that side so it's smooth. All right, and then now we have that chunk of DNA. We're going to do psychic surgery. We're going to go inside of our DNAs right now. We're going to take all that junk DNA that's not in alignment with our divine assignment. We're going to cut it out, and we're going to dissolve it. It's gone now. It no longer exists, like it never was anyways, because it never did truly exist. And we have this new piece of DNA right here. We coiled it up with love and gratitude from the beginning, from Venus's love energy, from the copper molecular structure being infused with this story. And then we're going to take this, and this is the new chunk of DNA going into your genetic library of epigenetics, so that you have the ability through mirror neurons to resonate with this divine transmission coming through and being distilled in this metaphysical tool for transformation, physical tool for transformation, aka bracelet made of copper wire. And now this little chunk of DNA, double helixing itself through your imagination, has become, like the rest of them, encoded with the story of how to make your life a better place by trusting the process, by allowing the flow, by looking into epigenetics and neuroscience and studying what it means, by going ahead and eating natural food as best you possibly can. Put your feet on the ground without your shoes on sometimes to ground out. Practice that life that you prefer to have, and stop whining about not having it. Start practicing being that. Walk like it, talk like it, breathe like it. You know it. That's what we're talking about. It's not about having or not having. It's about being what you are. See what I'm saying? Like, follow, subscribe if you're interested in any of these bracelets. They're on my website, www.naturessecretdesigns.com or www.thesacredstage.store. Those are my sites, and if you're interested in any mindset coaching, I have www.spiritualmindsetcoaching.com. Have the best day ever. Share this with your friends. Enjoy life. Give thanks. Be well. Bless up.